Right, let's see if this thing does better than a DT. Apparently I was only just able to get it because I didn't really notice the scores. That's the thing. Something that I've found has been really good against base is the Super Gundam. Because that beam cannon is strong as fuck, as are those missiles. But problem is,
most
that
explosive
space.
type weapons seem like they do really good.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. It's ballistic weapons. Beams are just good at like penetration and that. And funny if I start on the exact same side. Yeah. That's the thing. Stand on that little corner peak there. That is where the G5 was stood, where the Hyakshiki and that were down by this rock. And I was like over here and I just shot him once. And it staggered him so he could stop minigunning my friend. And it was around here where I counted the Hyakshiki the first time. And I think it was back here where I counted him the second time. Because he tried to melee me and I was like, fuck off and leave me alone. What's funny is I didn't know the Jar Jar existed until I found out about the Gyagya, which is
This thing is zippy.
Yeah. But anyway, I didn't find out about the Jar Jar until I became aware of the Gyagya, which is the grey build fighters colour variant. Which several times I keep calling it the Gyagya, even though it's the Jar Jar. But the high grade of the Gyagya came out first. But yeah, the high grade Gyagya came out first. But finally, the Jar Jar came out early this year. So I'm thinking about getting that at some point.
Wow, that actually chunked very through it.
Our beams make the same noise. I don't care. Right, I'm going to leave you alone now, so you can deal with the base. I have my own job to do. Of which you may have noticed I've painted mine in Federation colours. Which I didn't even know the Federation colours were a thing until I saw the high grade. Because that tends to be the thing with certain mobile suits, is I didn't know they exist until I was composing my HGUC list all the way back in 2017, I think it was. Yeah.
I know the introduction to Gundam to me.
Yeah.
Gundam Crossfire.
I have that game, granted the English one, so it's called Target and Sight. A lot of people poo-poo on that game, but I like it. It's stiff and clunky, but it's a good game. And what's annoying is because...
I thought was cool, the fact you could actually shoot the arms and the limbs off.
Yeah. I mean, the movement is a bit slow and cumbersome, but... Because apparently that game didn't do that well commercially over in the English countries.
Oh, yeah.
And because of that, we didn't get its far better sequel, which I think... It was either Gundam Senki or that Cross Dimension 0079. It was one of those two. That was the sequel to Target and Sight. But because Target and Sight was shit, we didn't get it, even though it was far superior. But Target and Sight was actually my third Gundam game. Because my first two were Dinosaur Wars Gundam 3 and Gundam Reborn. No, Dinosaur Wars Gundam Reborn. I bought those at the same time. I played the third one for like half an hour, I think, before the sort of like kind of stiff, clunky controls. Well, not clunky, but it just felt off. And the fact that the camera was so... But this is for the third Gundam Dinosaur Wars game specifically, but the camera's more zoomed in, so it's a bit clunky. The one thing I quite like about that game is the whole zones have a special function. Like, okay, if you capture this zone, your ally army spawn in more people. If you go this one, it's a catapult, so you can quickly dispatch to another zone. So it's quite funky. Yeah, I mean that mechanic I liked. The sequel, Gundam Reborn, did away with it, which is fine. But yeah.
It's not something fun.
Oh dear. What'd you do?
if you're boosting forward and you shoot those shoulder missiles with this thing, the missiles spawn behind its elbows.
Okay. Well, the shoulder binders swing round when you're boosting backwards. So it goes a bit iffy.
Like when I'm boosting. They pop out of the back of your elbow.
I noticed. I could see it as you were drifting by. Right, stand in front of me. I want to see if this thing has penetration.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
Well, you're dead anyway.
Yeah, I could tell you that one already.
Oh, I could tell I was dead because I'm dead. The charge on this cannon isn't bad. It could be better, but it's not bad. I have done absolute dick to your base. I think that that thing I was talking about, where the base changes type depending on the majority of the team, I think that is right. Because when I was the other support types, I was doing loads of damage to your base. But now that you're a raid type, I'm doing less.
To be honest, in my opinion, I think it's the fact that the beam weapon.
Yeah, it might have beam defense. God, don't have balance, so that's annoying. Right, let me shoot you. Where'd you go? You're not gonna kill it.
I know. Got me more of theirs, but he was just looking for while I was standing there shooting.
Well, it's because I thought you were, positioned currently behind me, but wow, 33-20, and that's type resistant, and that does a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, I do about 5,000, nearly 6,000 max on the low defense generals.
Ah. I'm glad I finally got the Hyzak custom because it's actually a decent mobile suit. Granted, I already used it for the first time earlier today. You thought you could attack me? I say nay, sir!
Just immediately pull up machine gun instead of shooting.
Well, I did briefly just get the idea, oh hey, maybe I should bomb the base. It's too late. Because it takes 10 seconds to plant the bomb, so you have to get in there when it's 1 minute 20 at the minimum.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I want to test that theory. In the next match, Sortie is a general type. I want to see if it is. That might actually be a secret mechanic where the base changes type.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll go. Making the middle of the turbines glow.
I've done that. I missed that second shot. Shouldn't have adjusted my aim. Let's hope I actually did that damage mission. I doubt it, but here's hoping. No. 68,000.